What's up, everybody? Dan here, Crypto Capital Ventures, September 24th, 2019. I encourage you, go watch my video from yesterday where I stated that I think Bitcoin is more likely to have a bullish breakout. Well, I was wrong, and I think this is a perfect opportunity to, number one, tell you, this is why I tell you, don't listen to YouTuber opinions. Take the data, make your own decision, especially from a risk tolerance standpoint. So that's first off. Don't listen to YouTubers. Secondly, I really just want to dig into the charts. When I did the video yesterday saying I think it's more likely for a bullish breakout out of our symmetrical pattern, I stated be ready for the opposite to happen, which would be a breakdown. Obviously, it's a pretty sizey, and I go to the daily chart just so that you can take a look at what I'm talking about in case you haven't seen that video. Let me zoom in here to the daily, and I'm going to zoom out so that you can actually see my screen. Let's do it. Okay. Daily chart, Bitcoin. There it is. There's the triangle that I'm talking about. So yesterday, especially with some momentum oscillators, historically speaking, what has happened in the past, I thought Bitcoin was more likely to do one of these. Boom. A break up above the 50 moving average and through the upper trend line of the symmetrical triangle. The biggest hint that might not happen, I guess, would be the continued for weeks resistance below the 50-day moving average. That's not a good sign. We want to be floating above that. That was not happening. So we got a break below this bottom trend line. We've been tracking this symmetrical triangle for some time now, and we've basically been saying, obviously, we get a breakout target to our Fibonacci retracement area, this red rectangle, calling it the bull market, the doors to the bull market. But on the flip side, we've been saying if we get a bearish break, right? We've been saying that we obviously will be looking for this potential falling wedge, right? That could be in play for a lower low somewhere, hopefully above this 200 moving average. So far, Bitcoin, really on this chart, this is Bitstamp right around $8,000. So, can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure. Okay, good. So I usually should check, but 200 moving average. We want to stay above that. $8,000. We wicked down. I was on Twitter and people were freaking out. What's new? In this move, I bought some Bitcoin already, right? I bought some Bitcoin. We're in the 8,000s. I'm long term, so let me go to the chart that I planned on starting out in this video, which is this one. Look, just zoom out on the charts. I think it's probably the most valuable thing that you could possibly do. And I want to try and make this video quick, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this, but zoom out on the charts, right? This is our longer term chart. This is a day behind. This is the Brave New Coin chart, liquid index. 9,600 is what's charted here. So we've come down from what you see on the screen, but I'm just showing this real quick to give you context, right, into Bitcoin and where it is, especially if you kind of zoom in right now on Bitcoin and kind of what it's done and what we're doing. I tweeted a little bit ago. I basically said, and actually I'm going to go to that real quick. I want to pull it up. So I'm going to go to my profile, and this is what I tweeted. Right here. Bitcoin is still finding, I want to make sure you can see this. Bitcoin is still finding its higher low since bear market bottom in December. It takes time. This is also exactly why I've been saying the bull market has not started, not until Bitcoin breaks $16,000. So going back to the charts, just look at Bitcoin since its bear market low, right? The 200 week moving average down here, this pink line, bear market bottom. We got a huge bounce, right? And we had a swing high, which is that key resistance area up to $16,000. That's Fibonacci retracement right there. And we got resistance there. Now, I've been saying that channel up to $16,000 is the entrance to the bull market. But since we had that swing high, Bitcoin's really just trying to consolidate and find its swing low. Now the chart, I'm going to go to the same weekly chart, but real time, so you can see what's happened now. And I'll zoom in and we can look at this. And this is Bitcoin really trying to find, some consolidation, a swing low type of scenario, or from this bear market bottom, a lower low, right? Could it be here? Could it be around $8,500? Maybe. Could it be $6,700 right here at the 50-week moving average? Maybe. The weeks ahead will tell. Considering the pattern that we have, the symmetrical triangle, breakout target would be probably more in line with that $7,000 area. And that's okay, right? We've been prepared for something like that on this channel. This is a weekly chart, and you can just see how long it takes for Bitcoin to just kind of, consolidate, put in its higher highs, its lower lows, its higher lows, right? This is all a process. Bull market cycle, bear market cycle. And when you zoom out on the chart, you get to just kind of get a sense of, oh, wow, like we're just right here, right? Like we're in this little weekly candle. Look at everything that's transpired for the lifetime of Bitcoin. Like this is really pretty much nothing, right? So that's that. Just taking a quick glance at the daily chart. Simply put, this is what I'll be looking for in terms of the pattern that we broke to the downside of. Yes, we have exited the bottom trend line, but this is what we always look for. Even if we exited or broke through the upper trend line, we always look for a retracement to that trend line. So same exact thing. We're looking for two things: support above the 200 moving average on the daily charts, right? So far we've gotten that, but also a revisit to the 9,000s. 9,500, 9,600 is the lower trend line of the symmetrical triangle. This could be a busted triangle if Bitcoin, and this could end up being extremely bullish for Bitcoin. I just want to throw that out there, and I want to just tell you why. I'm not saying I think it's going to happen, but if Bitcoin sees support at the 200 moving average and we revisit 9,600, 9,700 lower trend line right at the apex of this triangle, and we actually break through and above the upper trend line, if we get a bullish move for Bitcoin, this could potentially be a busted symmetrical triangle where we have a false breakout on the downside. This happens often in patterns. You have to be prepared for it. Just because we broke the lower trend line does not mean that we're definitely going to hit a target to the downside, $7,000, right? We have to be patient and keep an eye on this and do not get emotional in these markets. That's probably the most important thing not to do, is get emotional. So that's what I'm looking at very simply for Bitcoin. I want to see what it does in the next couple of days. Are we going to trade sideways, or we're going to trade above the 200 moving average? Very important. If we start seeing any daily candles trading below the 200 moving average on this daily chart, be concerned, right? Then I could see us being, in that $7,000 range, maybe even $6,500 range for that lower low in this falling wedge in the coming weeks, right? And this could be a very, very strong opportunity for many people, because if you look at the daily chart for Bitcoin, oversold on the RSI right down here, oversold on the stock RSI right down here. So momentum wise on the daily chart, this is it, everybody. That's why I just bought a little Bitcoin today after we got this strong move to the downside. This is opportunity. And this is also when you're going to see most negative comments on Twitter, on YouTube. But this is it. This is the buying the dip scenario, right? So find what you're comfortable, work your way in. I have more fiat that I'll enter with if we get into the 7,000s, right? I have my own approach. Don't take my approach. Don't do what I do. Find your own. So that's Bitcoin. I just wanted to throw that out there. But from a buying perspective, it's looking nice. Could we trade in this oversold area for a while on the stock RSI and on the RSI? Absolutely. It could happen, right? And in that case, be patient with your money. Be patient with your investments. And try not to get emotional about it. But for me, this is when the opportunity is to buy. Many people in the market are buying when things look amazing, and we're overbought on these oscillators, right? And that is the worst time to buy. That is buying the top. You don't want to do that. So when there's fear, when there's negativity, historically, especially my experience in these markets, that's been the best time to accumulate. And so that's what I started doing today. Litecoin, I know there's some Litecoin people in here want to throw this out there. Very simple. This is Litecoin diverging from what we've been tracking for a very long time, right? I think even before we hit our bear market bottom, right? Litecoin has been so harmonious with its last bear market back here, right? And its bear market bottom, and then going into the halving, right? Same exact thing, going into halving, and then consolidating a 50-week moving average. And I've been saying it for like months. If Litecoin keeps following itself, right, from the last cycle, and if it stops doing that, if something changes, then I will say so, and we'll talk about that. So guess what? Something has changed. It's been nice to see Litecoin has done exactly what it did in 2015, consolidating at the 50-week moving average, and it did so for a while, for months, right, before entering a bull market. We were anticipating potentially something similar. We were anticipating potentially a breakout, right, before trading sideways for months. And we were, I shouldn't say we were anticipating, but I said if it happens, we'll discuss, and it happened. Litecoin has broken below the 50-week moving average on the weekly chart, right? So that's very important. If that happened, we'd obviously, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this, we'd be looking for support at the 200 moving average on the weekly chart. That's where we are now. Where Litecoin goes next, I'd use the daily chart for context to answering that. Before I get to that daily chart, I do want to just look at this weekly, and I want to show you something. And I'll put it very simply to everybody. If you're interested in my thoughts here, I wanted to say this. Again, don't listen to crypto YouTubers, right? And also, if you're in this market, and there's going to be a ton of negative comments on this video because that's what happens when price is down. I get a lot of comments saying, you've always been so bullish. My whole channel is about waiting for price to go down, right? Is waiting for events like this so I can buy. So those people don't watch my channel. But I want to say this. If you're in this long term, which I am, right? If you see opportunity long term for Bitcoin and Litecoin, and if you're zooming out on the charts and you understand the story that is being told on the screen, right? And you have patience and you can be here for months and years, then in my opinion, right now, we don't know what Litecoin will do next. I don't know where it's going to find its we talked about Bitcoin's higher low from the bear market bottom, right? I don't know where Litecoin's going to find its higher low. Maybe it's a 200-week moving average right here. It would be very nice looking for that to happen, right? Long term. Maybe it's down here. But either way, all I know is the stock RSI is extremely oversold here on the weekly chart. The RSI is oversold on the weekly chart. If you go over to the daily chart is oversold on the RSI, and the stock RSI just entering oversold. Litecoin, if you're keen on accumulating, this is it. Do whatever you want. Don't listen to YouTubers. Don't listen to people in the comments. Just do whatever you want. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. In my opinion, these are the environments for Bitcoin and Litecoin when they approach oversold on the daily, on the weekly. This is the best time to accumulate. If you have the money that you can afford to lose, if all fails, if everything fails, if crypto fails and you lose all your money, put that scenario in the back of your head just in case. Make your decision based upon that. And that's just the bottom line. There's no YouTuber, there's no anybody on CNBC Money or Fast Money, on no technical trader for 30 years that can tell you what crypto is going to do next. So like if you're scouring YouTube, if you're scouring Reddit or Twitter and you're trying to find the secret answer, just stop. Just please stop. Look at your own finances and figure out how you want to accumulate if you're in this long term and you think there's going to be some success, right? Right now, this looks short-term bearish, right? We're getting a dip, but it looks normal, right? In any market. Look at Litecoin. Here we go. I just zoomed out real quick and I'm back in September 17th, like towards the end of the bull market. Look at Litecoin, right? People probably freaking out when Litecoin made this move in the course of a week, 52% down. But guess what? Look at what was ahead, right? So this type of stuff happens all the time. Now, from a pattern perspective, we looked at the momentum oscillators. They look nice. From a pattern perspective, we have this. We had Litecoin basically testing the 50-day moving average. It was so important to break that. It didn't. We have Litecoin broke this trend line that we had in place, right? And what were we doing? We were waiting to see if there's support at that trend line, right? And it's exactly what we're doing with Bitcoin on the daily chart in its own pattern, right? We broke the upper trend or the lower trend line. Now we're waiting for it to revisit to see if there's support, right? It's just the inverse of this Litecoin pattern where we broke the upper trend line. Now we're waiting to see if there's support. So there wasn't support for Litecoin on this daily chart. We're back in this falling wedge. We're putting in a new lower low in this falling wedge. Ultimately, this could be the absolute most bullish setup, and I think we've talked about this, an incredibly bullish pattern after the halving to set Litecoin up for insane bull market entrance, bull market gains. And we talked about how it could take a while going into fall for this to happen. Well, we're going into fall now, and we have actually a very bullish looking pattern, and the momentum oscillators are becoming very oversold on these daily charts, the weekly charts. And right now, Litecoin is setting up for potential falling wedge breakout, right, to enter the bull market. Maybe it's October. Maybe it's not. Maybe it'll be in November where we're towards the apex of this falling wedge, right? And I'll play this out for you. So we extend these lines a little bit. Maybe we're here, October. Everybody's depressed at $40 Litecoin, end of October, November. And maybe that's when Litecoin decides to make a run. Extremely oversold by that time on the weekly charts, probably on the monthly charts. And the thing is, we're living in a moment, but a brief moment today as markets are down, and people get very emotional, trapped in that short moment of time. So definitely recommend you just zoom out on the charts, put things into perspective, like go take a walk. Don't listen to YouTubers. Maybe take the data they're offering you from the charts, right? But in terms of what they think will happen next, don't listen to them. So I did a video yesterday talking about what I thought Bitcoin was going to do next. I'm pretty sure I highlighted the video by saying don't listen to me. Is this my opinion? Because look, Bitcoin, what I thought was going to do next was a breakout to at least test this Fibonacci resistance, and it didn't. It went the other way. So all that does, in my opinion, again, opinion, is create opportunity. Bitcoin entering oversold on this RSI. And if you just zoom out on the daily chart and you look and do this on your own, go to tradingview.com, pull up a Bitcoin chart. If you zoom out on the daily chart on Bitcoin, like just zoom out forever and look at every single time on this RSI momentum oscillator, Bitcoin approached this oversold area. Look what it did next, like pretty much every time. And then make your own decision what you want to do with your money. And the same thing on the weekly chart. If you go over to the weekly chart and I'm trying to zoom out, and you zoom out, right? Look at, I want to just show you where you probably don't want to accumulate Bitcoin. It's up here, right? It's all up here. These are like the tops of swing highs. So that's when you don't want to accumulate Bitcoin. But look where Bitcoin is approaching now. Bitcoin is approaching under 50, right? Under 40 is bear market territory. We want to see support on the weekly chart for Bitcoin on the RSI above 40. We're not there yet. Under 40 is surely risky, but the best possible accumulation. That's the bottom of the bear market. That's bear market territory from a momentum oscillator perspective. But right now is good accumulation, especially the stock RSI oversold right now. And if you look at the stock RSI, every time we're this oversold, Bitcoin pretty much has gotten a nice bounce, whether you're in a bear market or a bull market. So just keep that in the back of your mind as well. Going on around 20 minutes, I wanted to keep this brief. Those are my thoughts. If you're here right now and you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate everybody coming by. Everybody, just chill. Have a good day. Enjoy the markets. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're not overly invested in these markets. I saw some super chats come in. I really appreciate it. Tony, thank you. Jason, thank you. And John, thank you. I really, truly appreciate that. I hope you're having an amazing day. Somebody said, look at LTC, BTC. I'll check it out real quick, just for brief context. So here we go. LTC, BTC. And if you, right now we're on the weekly chart. Again, I accumulate both Litecoin and Bitcoin. I would never, I'm not going to sit here and even talk about the context of trading the two. I just don't think that's the wisest thing. I think you can accumulate both. I don't think it's smart to trade the two. However, LTC looking strong on the LTC BTC pair. Most people will be like, how's it looking strong, Dan? Look how much it's down. That's the point. When it's down, when there's fear, when it's oversold, especially if you look at the stock RSI, go back. Every time on the stock RSI down here, Litecoin has been here. What has happened? Let's go back and look real quick. Here it is. This was the last swing low down here, right? And then what happened? Litecoin makes moves on Bitcoin. Again, stock RSI swing low. Litecoin makes moves on Bitcoin. Same thing every time. Oversold on the stock RSI. It's very simple data to just ingest and digest and think about, right? When making your decision on what you want to do with your trades, with your money. This is, again, not something I would do. I wouldn't trade Litecoin, Bitcoin. I just accumulate both. And right now, from a USD perspective, if you're interested in investing USD, I think it's a better time to buy than any, right? So those are my thoughts. I hope you're doing well. Again, if you're here right now, you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. I really would love to have you as part of the channel as we grow this thing. And yes, as we do eventually enter a bull market, I think it'll come. I think it'll happen. Time will tell, though. And in the meantime, be careful with your money. Don't listen to YouTubers. And have an awesome rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.